What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Buzz. Kamaru Usman believes Petr Yan has the tools to beat Mirab Dvalishvili, and Sean O'Malley is doubling down with his own technical insight. As we approach Mirab's fourth title defense of the year, the MMA world is buzzing. Their first fight was a one-sided showcase from Mirab, yet a surprising number of fans still think Yan can pull off the upset in the rematch, and that debate has taken over the community. On their latest show, Kamaru Usman and Henry Sjudo broke down the matchup in detail. Both acknowledged that Petr Yan undeniably has the power, precision, and elite boxing to land the one perfect shot that could change the trajectory of the fight. His counters are sharp, he sits in the pocket with confidence, and he's capable of capitalizing on even the smallest opening. But the deeper they analyzed the fight, the more they agreed that Mirab's relentless pressure, suffocating pace, and seemingly endless cardio make him an incredibly difficult opponent to bet against. Regardless of Yan's knockout threat, both former champions ultimately sided with Mirab retaining his belt. Then Sean O'Malley added his own breakdown, and this time it wasn't the typical Suga-style entertainment. Instead, he offered a serious technical analysis, outlining the only realistic path to a Petr Yan upset. According to him, Yan's best chance comes if Mirab gets too confident in his striking. O'Malley pointed out that Mirab has been falling in love with his hands recently, nearly knocking out Corey Sandhagen and throwing more combinations than usual, even against Umar. If Mirab keeps his chin high or gets drawn into trading in the pocket, Yan's speed and counters could punish him instantly. However, O'Malley emphasized that Mirab has excellent fight IQ. In fact, he joked that Mirab's fight IQ might be higher than his regular IQ. Because of that, he doesn't expect Mirab to stand and trade recklessly. O'Malley believes Mirab will stick to his strengths unless he gets carried away with striking, and that's the only scenario where Yan can truly capitalize. In the end, despite acknowledging Yan's danger, O'Malley, like US Man and Sjudo, is still leaning toward Mirab to retain the title, unless he abandons his game plan and gets caught. Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for latest MMA updates. Move on to another news. Joe Rogan has weighed in on Gable Stevesson's unbelievable knockout, and he's making it clear he wants the Olympic champion in the UFC as soon as possible. The heavyweight division has been stuck in limbo ever since Jon Jones officially retired. Many fans expected the division to finally move forward, but instead, it has stalled. The recent IPO controversy only added to the chaos, leading Tom Aspinall to fire back at critics, including Dana White, calling them effing losers and crazy haters with nothing positive going on in their lives. With no new date announced for his rescheduled fight, the division remains frozen. Amid all this uncertainty, Joe Rogan is already pushing for the next big heavyweight star, Gable Stevesson. The Olympic gold medalist has been turning heads with his explosive knockouts, and Rogan believes he could instantly become a major threat in the UFC. Stevesson isn't just another hype train. He's been training closely with former heavyweight champion Jon Jones, who has also encouraged the UFC to sign him. With world-class wrestling, surprising knockout power, and massive star potential, Gable Stevesson could genuinely shake up the entire division once he steps into the Octagon. Rogan emphasized that the heavyweight landscape desperately needs fresh talent, and Stevesson has everything required to dominate. According to Rogan, the division is devoid of talent, and Stevesson is exactly the kind of athlete who could revitalize it. He described Gable as a freak-level competitor, an Olympic gold medalist weighing 250 pounds who moves with the speed and agility of a much smaller fighter. Rogan even revealed that he personally texted Dana White a video of Stevesson's last knockout, telling him that the entire division will be in serious trouble once Gable arrived. The clip showed Stevesson knocking an opponent out cold with a single left hand, then taking him down while he was still falling. In another fight, Stevesson won a dirty boxing exchange, knocked his opponent out, and then showcased his explosive athleticism by leaping effortlessly over the top rope and landing on the apron like it was nothing. For Rogan, there's no question. Gable Stevesson is the future of heavyweight MMA. With the division currently stalled, his arrival could be exactly what the UFC needs. Move on to another news. Islam has broken his silence following UFC Qatar, offering major praise for Arman and giving fans new insight into his future. According to Islam, Arman delivered exactly what a true no one contender is supposed to: dominance, confidence, and a clear statement to the rest of the division. Makhachev said he fully expected Sarukian to beat Dan Hooker, but he did not expect him to win in such overwhelming fashion. In his words, Arman didn't just secure a victory, he proved that he has earned his title shot beyond any doubt. Islam also admitted something surprising. He regrets not moving to welterweight earlier in his career. For years, he forced himself through brutal weight cuts, even when he was already lightweight champion. But after stepping into his recent 170-pound bout, he realized he wasn't undersized at all. In fact, he felt physically equal to his opponent, which made him realize he could have made the move move long ago instead of draining his body year after year. While Islam's rise at welterweight is making global headlines, Shavkat quietly ignited a new fire. Rakhmonov questioned how impressive Islam's win over Jack Della Maddalena truly was, hinting that he wants to test the new two-division champion himself. A fight between Islam and Shavkat would be massive, especially in the Russian region, where both are already huge stars. Years ago, even the rumor of Rakhmonov fighting Khamzat Chimaev blew up the entire Russian MMA community. Now add Islam's name to the mix, and suddenly, one of the most feared undefeated fighters on the roster is circling the champion. When asked about Islam's dominant debut at welterweight, Shavkat kept it simple. Islam looked great, but he wants to find out for himself whether the performance was due to ADM having an off night or Islam being that good. Rakhmonov said he considers himself a universal fighter who can challenge Islam everywhere, striking, grappling, and wrestling, and he wants the chance to prove it. Meanwhile, unexpected movement may be coming to the lightweight division. Top welterweight Sean Brady has revealed he is seriously considering dropping to 155 pounds, and he says the chances of it happening are very high. The cut, according to Brady, is manageable, and the matchups at lightweight excite him far more. Brady is coming off a knockout loss to the undefeated Michael Morales, who is steadily building his own case to chase Islam's legacy. Move on to another news. Ilia Topuria made headlines at UFC 323 after showing up to support Mirab Dvalishvili ahead of his highly anticipated rematch with Pereira. Shortly after arriving, Topuria joined a Georgian YouTube channel for a quick interview, and things escalated fast. The moment the host asked him about the newly announced Paddy Pimblett vs. Justin Gaethje matchup, Ilia unleashed one of the harshest breakdowns of JFG anyone has heard from a top contender. Topuria dismissed Justin's entire skill set, claiming Gaethje has no real grappling threat and folds quickly when fights hit the mat. The comment shocked some fans, especially because Gaethje has been nothing but respectful toward Ilia. Justin has praised Topuria's punching power and the way he blends his striking. So hearing El Matador fire back so aggressively felt unnecessary to many, but to longtime followers of Topuria, this is nothing new. He has a history of talking brutally about almost anyone in his division, regardless of whether they praised him or criticized him. A potential Topuria vs. Gaethje showdown would be pure chaos, but for now, Gaethje must first get past Paddy Pimblett, which is already a massive challenge. If Justin wins, the UFC is expected to book Topuria against the winner sometime in the spring, with no one contender Arman Tsarukyan watching closely from the sidelines. During the interview, Topuria didn't hold back when breaking down Gaethje's performance against Khabib Nurmagomedov. He said Gaethje's grappling was atrocious and that he looked terrified even before entering the cage. According to Ilia, Gaethje mentally collapsed the moment the fight went to the ground. He accused Justin of giving up during Khabib's choke attempt instead of fighting out of the position, calling the effort pathetic. While he acknowledged Khabib is obviously the better grappler, Ilia argued that Justin's reaction showed a complete lack of confidence and composure. Topuria went as far as saying Gaethje didn't deserve even a white belt in jiu-jitsu based on that performance. He also claimed Justin's stand-up defense looked awkward and hesitant, suggesting Gaethje was more scared than strategic. Ilia ended the interview by declaring that none of these fighters, Gaethje, Pimblett, or anyone else in the conversation, are operating on the same level as him. Move on to another news. Khabib Nurmagomedov recently revisited one of the wildest moments of his career, his infamous UFC 209 conference call with Tony Ferguson. The call has long been remembered as one of the most chaotic verbal exchanges in MMA history, and Khabib's retelling only highlights just how unhinged it truly was. Throughout the conversation, Khabib remained calm and collected, while Tony repeatedly exploded in frustration, creating a clash of personalities that fans still quote years later. Khabib began by telling Tony that his belt was fake, a comment that immediately triggered Ferguson. Tony fired back, insisting the belt looked real to him and dismissing all the talk about his titles, sponsors, and accomplishments. He said he didn't care about Reebok deals or people hyping him up, and mocked the idea that Khabib even had the right to question his legitimacy. Khabib, in classic fashion, responded with composed sarcasm. He offered to personally ask Reebok to give Tony a contract, joking that the company makes great shoes, and that he could even order a pair for him. He asked Tony what size he wore and whether he preferred something with interim champ Tony Ferguson printed on it, trolling him without ever raising his voice. Tony, clearly irritated, claimed he couldn't even hear Khabib because he was working out. Khabib immediately called out the contradiction, asking how Tony could be working out if he was sitting on the phone arguing. The tension between them grew as Tony accused Khabib of not understanding what he was saying. while Khabib continued calmly, pressing him about why he was suddenly talking about Reebok at all. The exchange perfectly captured their dynamic, Tony's chaotic, unpredictable energy colliding with Khabib's cold, almost playful confidence. Even years later, the call remains one of the most legendary pieces of MMA trash talk, a reminder of how close the world once came to witnessing one of the most anticipated fights in UFC history. Move on to another news. Recently, a sparring clip surfaced showing UFC champion Alex Pereira knocking out a training partner, creating a wave of backlash across social media. Many fans accused Pereira of going too hard in training, while others questioned the gym's safety protocols. Now, Mike Perry, who trains at the same facility where the incident occurred, has stepped in to clarify what really happened. Speaking on his Overdogs podcast, Perry offered important context that the viral video didn't capture. He defended Pereira as a humble and respectful fighter, insisting that the situation may have been exaggerated by either the sparring partner or even the gym itself in an attempt to generate attention and clicks. Perry also pointed out that he was in the gym that day, though he chose not to spar with Pereira. According to Perry, anyone who steps into a sparring session with Alex Pereira carries a sense of pressure. Some are nervous about facing a champion-level striker and simply don't want to get hurt. Others see it as an opportunity to test themselves or prove something. Either way, Perry says, Pereira is constantly dealing with people trying to go too hard, and he remains calm and respectful with everyone he trains with. Perry explained that he has heard mixed opinions from people who witnessed the session. In his view, this was simply a sparring exchange that escalated slightly, not an intentional knockout. He noted that Pereira was working the body hard, but wasn't trying to clean the guy's cloth. The shot that landed upstairs, according to Perry, came at a moment when both fighters were tired, and he questioned whether the reaction from the sparring partner was entirely genuine or possibly dramatized for effect. He even suggested that the Fusion XL gym might have leaned into the moment for extra views and online engagement. Perry shared that, on his own first day back, he was dealing with significant back pain while sparring a few partners. Meanwhile, Pereira was across the gym working with heavyweights. Perry joked that sparring Pereira made no sense for him because, unlike those fighters, he wasn't a heavyweight. He emphasized that Alex trains with all kinds of partners, big, small, experienced, and new, and maintains the same humble, disciplined approach every time. Move on to another news. During the UFC 323 press conference on Thursday, headliners Mirab, Dvalishvili, and Petr Yan delivered several light-hearted moments that instantly went viral. One of the funniest exchanges came when Mirab unexpectedly invited Yan to join him in a jacuzzi after their fight, an invitation Yan declined without hesitation. Mirab playfully said, "Hey, you are welcome in my jacuzzi. You want to come after the fight?" Yan quickly responded, saying he had no interest, adding, "You already have plenty of people in your jacuzzi. I don't need to be there." Mirab continued joking, suggesting, "Come on, Peter, after the fight, it will be fun. Honestly, I feel like you should have girls in your jacuzzi instead of the people you usually have." He teased further, saying that if Yan preferred being in a jacuzzi with the boys, that was his choice. Mirab added, "What's the problem with girls or boys together? It doesn't matter, bro. We can mix." Yan, staying composed, replied that all he ever saw in Mirab's jacuzzi videos were men, adding that he had never even seen Mirab with a girl. The crowd reacted with laughter as the banter continued to escalate. Yan then took a humorous shot of his own, referencing Mirab's viral video in which he dove headfirst into a frozen lake. He said he found Mirab's antics entertaining, even if Mirab wasn't trying to be funny, and admitted that the ice jump clip was his personal favorite. The exchange was one of the standout highlights of the press conference, showcasing both fighters' charisma and sense of humor just days before their highly anticipated clash. Their playful jabs added a layer of entertainment to the build-up, giving fans a glimpse of their personalities outside the Octagon while keeping the competitive tension alive. Move on to another news. In a recent YouTube video, Tom Aspinall addressed his frustration with Dana White's comments following UFC 321. The UFC president's post-fight remarks implied that Aspinall did not want to continue during the bout, a suggestion that triggered speculation and led many fans to believe Dana was subtly criticizing the heavyweight champion. Aspinall spoke on the situation briefly, choosing not to reveal too many details, but he made it clear that he wasn't pleased with how the narrative was being framed. Shortly after the discussion gained attention, former UFC champion Henry Sjudo offered Aspinall some public advice based on his own past experiences with Dana White. Speaking in an interview with Shock MMA, Sjudo urged Aspinall not to get into a confrontation with the UFC president and to avoid taking Dana's words personally. The full interview is available on the Shock MMA YouTube channel for those who want deeper insight. Sjudo explained that the most important lesson Aspinall should take from the situation is understanding the difference between the roles. Dana White is a promoter, and Aspinall is a fighter. Sjudo reminded him that Dana has never stepped inside the octagon, yet his job requires making bold statements to stir conversation and drive the business forward. He recalled how his own mentor once gave him the same advice when he felt upset with Dana. Sjudo pointed out that fighters often push through serious injuries. He himself fought through a torn labrum and a sprained ankle, yet criticism from Dana can still sting. But when the issue concerns something as serious as an eye injury, the circumstances change entirely. According to him, Aspinall should avoid taking anything personally because, at the end of the day, Dana is the boss, and fighters are part of the organization he runs. He concluded by saying Aspinall should not escalate the situation. "Don't fight with him, bro. It is what it is," Sjudo explained. He added that Dana's willingness to speak his mind, even bluntly, is part of what makes him such an effective promoter. Sjudo even admitted that he respects Dana's honesty, saying that in combat sports, especially in boxing, such directness is simply part of the culture.